When I was starting out learning Japanese, I heard a lot of people say, go full immersion right from the start. Think, live, breathe 100% in Japanese and it'll pay off big time. I don't disagree, but it can certainly be overwhelming to hear this advice at the beginning of your studies. You might try listening to some native Japanese media and get confused and demoralized when you can't pick up a single word. And that's okay, that's to be expected. The advice just needs a little more nuance. More exposure to the language you're learning can only be a good thing, but it might not always be the best thing. Watching an hour of anime without subtitles and understanding nothing is not going to teach you as much as an hour of textbook study. The former will put the language in context, but you need enough foundational knowledge to begin with in order to learn something from it. That foundational knowledge is what you'll gain from the textbooks and other formal study resources that I listed in the beginner's guide video. There are benefits to exposing yourself to real-world Japanese early on, and you should do it. You just have to manage your expectations and use the materials in the right way. At the beginner stage, you should at the very least be searching for native Japanese materials that you want to understand one day. Those will become clear motivational goals for your study, and you'll be able to use them as study resources sooner than you think. Even if you don't understand much to begin with, it's worth keeping them in your periphery and engaging with them now and then. That way you can come back to them over time as you learn more and more. I tried this and it worked for me. It was around the time that I started learning Japanese that I got really into Japanese indie rock music, and there were so many bands with lyrics that I wanted to understand. It was almost a magical experience as I learned more words and grammar as the months passed, and the meanings of these songs slowly revealed themselves. I have another video talking about my love for that kind of music, so I'll refrain from nerding out too much here, but if you can find something equally motivational for you, it will certainly be a boon to your studies. This is why I refrain from recommending children's books or other really simple Japanese resources for study, because they're probably not interesting to you, they're probably not going to teach you much about anything that you're interested in, and they're probably not going to make you want to keep studying. Unless you really like children's books, in which case perfect. Engage with something you enjoy, have fun with it. These chosen resources will become treasure troves of vocabulary, grammar, and turns of speech that will directly feed into your learning goals and bring you closer to becoming the kind of Japanese speaker that you want to be. Be an active reader. Look up the things you don't know, take notes, turn them into Anki flashcards, and memorize them later. Doing this will steadily plug all the gaps in your knowledge until you're at the level that you want to be. Now remember, the point of engaging with native Japanese materials is immersion. Surrounding yourself with Japanese will train your brain to be able to understand the Japanese you're hearing and produce Japanese responses faster and faster. Occasionally I've seen learners musing over the idea of taking a piece of Japanese media and translating it into their native language to prove they understand it. This is such a bad idea. Do not do this. Translation is a specific skill separate from communicating in Japanese that involves keeping both languages running in your brain at the same time. Unless you're specifically aiming to become a translator or interpreter, that is not a skill you need to train, and sticking to translation instead of immersion can be actively detrimental to your learning. There is a world of difference between keeping part of your brain in your native language and part of your brain in Japanese, and going into full Japanese mode. It feels totally different. You want to eventually be able to go full Japanese language inside your head, and the only way you're going to get to do that is by getting used to that feeling by going fully Japanese whenever you can. Immersion has to be a habit. The more you do it, the more effective it is. A good rule of thumb is, whatever you'd normally do in your native language, do it in Japanese instead. If you're watching Japanese TV shows or movies, do it with the Japanese subtitles, not the English ones. If you can't keep up with the Japanese subtitles, study some more and come back later. Try, in your daily life, even if it's really hard, to start thinking in Japanese. Look around you and try to describe what you're doing, or what you're going to do in the near future. If you don't know the words, pull out a dictionary, there's probably one in your pocket. And if you're unsure about your answer, ask someone and get corrected. There are plenty of sites for that now. Hi Native, LangCorrect, HelloTalk, Discord servers. When you start out, your study will be very textbook and flashcard based, but if you start even a little bit of these immersion activities early on, eventually your knowledge gained through study is going to catch up and you'll be well placed to start using your newfound language ability in the real world. That's what hitting the intermediate stage looks like. If learning Japanese is like climbing a mountain, this is the point where the scenery starts coming into view. And it only looks better the higher you go. Please remember to like this video and subscribe for more videos about learning Japanese and life in Japan, and follow me on Twitter at @bonyari_boy, where I talk about all this stuff and more. Good luck!